All right, so this was just announced that Ubisoft is spinning out a new unit for Assassin's Creed and other franchises, with Tencent taking a 1.25 billion stake. I specifically went and found this while we've been sitting here doing breakfast and stuff because I wanted to find a non-biased source. Because if you go to a lot of the gaming journalist outlets, they're not actually doing any journalism. They're saying, "Look, it's proof that Ubisoft is failing. They sold off a portion. They didn't sell anything." What they have done is they have formed a subsidiary with Tencent as a major backer, which has given them a massive influx of cash, which allows them to do very interesting things with expanding the company and overcoming what was absolutely a rough 2024. So, key points here in this article, this is at CNBC. Ubisoft on Thursday announced it's setting up a new subsidiary that will focus on the gaming brands Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, three of its major franchises. Chinese technology giant Tencent will invest 1.16 billion euros or 1.25 billion US dollars into this unit for a 25% ownership stake, with Ubisoft retaining 75% ownership stake and creative control. The subsidiary is obviously focusing on their best known brands. Shares were up as a result of this with the opening bell on Friday, which is today, up 10%. They released a press release, which we can go open up and take a look at here in a minute. The quote here from the press release is that the new unit is going to focus on building game ecosystems designed to become truly evergreen and multi-platform. Backed by greater investment and boosted creative capacities, it will drive further increases in quality of narrative solo experiences, expand multiplayer offerings with increased frequency of content releases, introduce free-to-play touchpoints, and integrate more social features. The investment from Tencent values the new subsidiary at 4 billion euros, Ubisoft said, implying a 4 times multiple based on its average sales from full year 2023 to 2025. It highlights the strong values of Ubisoft's IPs, significantly reinforces its balance sheet, and enables the company to continue its efforts to become a more agile organization, unleash the full creative potential of its team, and better align its resources with the constantly evolving expectation of players. This move follows months of speculation about Ubisoft's future. In January, they appointed advisors to review strategic options, stoking rumors about a potential sale. And then earlier this month, Bloomberg reported that the game's publisher was looking to bring in external investment in a new entity involving some of its core intellectual property. That was the report we were talking about like a couple weeks ago. Because I told people that like there were some doom and gloomers who were like, Ubisoft is failing so hard. Look at how badly Assassin's Creed Shadows doing. They're selling off, and I'm like, dude, those talks were happening before Assassin's Creed Shadows was ever. That stuff has been in the works for months. Like, and it's not selling off the company. It's making a subsidiary around. This is why I love actual. This is an actual news article. This is actual reporting, not that bullshit that grifter bots come up with where they're like, you know, Ubisoft stock is down and here's why. No, this is factual reporting. There's nothing in here. There's no bias. It's just facts. Um, that followed reporting from Bloomberg last year that Tencent was discussing a possible take-private deal with Ubisoft's founding family. The game has been met very positively, as they said right at the bottom. Game garnering an average score of 82 on review aggregation site Metacritic. It's also already sold as of this morning over 3 million copies. It's doing very well. All right, so there's a press release that this said was also a part of this, which I have not looked at yet. This was from yesterday. Ubisoft accelerates its transformation by laying foundation for a new operating model with the creation of a subsidiary and injection of 1.16 billion of cash euros from selected investor Tencent. So this is obviously a press release. So this is, putting a very positive spin on the news because they want it to be taken positively, and it is positive in my mind because they now have a cash injection from Tencent. And anybody who's paid any attention to the way Tencent is involved in their companies, one of the first things that I looked at, one of the first times I looked at Tencent very positively was what they did with Grinding Gears Games. Tencent came in and bought a majority They bought a major stake. I don't remember exactly what it was, but they bought a major stake in Grinding Gears Games after the success of Path of Exile, and allowed Grinding Gears Games to expand their team by like 100 plus employees, if I remember correctly. I may be misremembering the amount of employees, but it allowed them to expand their team dramatically and start work on Path of Exile 2. Um, they retain full creative ownership. Tencent likes to be a silent partner, whether they're in bed with Epic and Unreal, or whether they're in bed with Grinding Gears Games or companies like Ubisoft. They are traditionally a silent partner who just says, we just want to reap the benefit of the money that you're making with these billion-dollar franchises. So let us come on board for a certain percentage, and you maintain creative control, and we're just there in the background, maybe providing counseling from time to time or providing suggestions, getting a vote on the board, so on and so forth. Let's see here. We already talked about the evaluation. It says the binding agreement with Tencent follows a formal and competitive process in exploring and assessing different strategic options announced earlier this year and based on careful consideration of several expressions of interest from diverse parties, and with its duty to act in the best interest of all Ubisoft stakeholders. The board of directors, upon recommendation from the ad hoc committee, determined that this transaction crystallized the best value for Ubisoft's assets and unanimously approved the proposed transaction on March 27th. The board of directors has, upon ad hoc committee recommendation, appointed Finexi, acting as independent expert in the view of the issuance of a fairness opinion. In parallel to the creation of this new entity, Ubisoft will be focusing on nurturing the development of iconic franchises such as Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon and The Division, accelerating the growth, by the way, Division 3, nudge nudge wink wink, accelerating the growth of top-performing titles and leveraging disruptive technologies on select new IPs whilst continuing to deliver state-of-the-art production game engines and online services, which they've always done for 30 plus years. Again, remember, we talked about this yesterday. Any company that's been in the business for more than a decade does this. Ubisoft goes up, Ubisoft goes down. Walmart goes up, Walmart goes down. McDonald's goes up, McDonald's goes down. Intel up, down. Nvidia up, down. Apple up, down. Microsoft up, down. Google up, down. That's the nature of business. Nature of any company that's been around for any length of time. Yves Guillemot says today Ubisoft is opening a new chapter in its history. As we accelerate the company's transformation, this is a foundational step in changing Ubisoft's operational model that enables us to become both agile, or to enable us to be both agile and ambitious. We are focused on building strong game ecosystems designed to become evergreen, grow our high-performing brands, and create new IPs powered by cutting-edge and emerging technology. This new subsidiary will spearhead development for 3 of our largest franchises, and the onboarding of Tencent as a minority investor will crystallize the value of our assets, thus strengthening our balance sheet, creating the best conditions for these franchise long-term growth and success. So for those of you who really want to go dig into this, I'll put a link to the press release down in the bottom of the description text once this gets pushed out to YouTube as its own independent video. So go feel free, because it's a big press release. There's a lot of stuff here for those who really want to dig into all the data. Ubisoft's going to hold a press conference which I'm assuming that call is available. It says here the conference call, it can be replayed by clicking the follow link. So people who really want to dive into things can go listen to the conference call. And this is where we had the guy who came in to chat the other day and tried to claim, oh, Assassin's Creed Shadows has to sell 10 million copies to break even. And I pushed back on that saying, where is your proof? This is how you provide proof. Not a blog post. You go to the investor calls and you read the press releases, because they are federally obligated to release financial information in these investor meetings and these investor calls. This is what I'm talking about burden of proof when it comes to talking about things like sales. So for those of you who really want to dive deep into this press release and the new subsidy and Tencent and everything else, you'll find more information here. And again, the links to all of this will be down in the description text below once it's supported out to YouTube as its own video, which will happen later today after I wrap up the stream, because we're still live streaming, which means we're about to get ready to go back to playing more Assassin's Creed Shadows. The long and short of this is just that, exactly, Queen, we don't know if it's good or bad yet. On the surface level, this is good news for the company because it's an injection of cash. That's never a bad thing. Burlack says, if I were to check my gaming history, I've probably put as many hours into Ubisoft games as all other games combined. I love the games they make. I'm in the same boat. I've told people multiple times, I have thousands of hours in Ubisoft games over the years. I do not care if they go up or down. Like, I tell people all the time, I love Star Wars. All Star Wars. All Star Wars is good Star Wars. It's just that some Star Wars is better than other Star Wars. Cough, cough, the Christmas special. Cough, cough, the Ewok movies. Cough, 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 the Disney Palpatine trilogy. Like, not everything is going to be perfect. There's going to be, this is going to happen in any franchise or company. And so, Ubisoft for me is a company that makes great games. Some are hit and miss. I still enjoy them. I want them to continue to producing games for the rest of my life, so hopefully they're around for many decades to come. That's the news. And by the way, folks, that's how CNBC is how you should be reporting on your news, not grifter botting and grifting where you make headlines that are like, Ubisoft is failing because they just sold to Tencent. So, here, 3 cheers to real journalists. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 5 a.m. Central on YouTube and Twitch. We go for about 6 hours every single morning, and then we do another 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. This is the day job. If you want to know more, you just got to look around, especially on YouTube. There's over 7,500 videos. We're going to get back to the stream now. If I can find my controller. Exactly, yes, FS Trains. It's another great example. Tencent investing in Frontier to help with the development of Elite Dangerous. There's tons of examples. Tencent is generally a hands-off. They just want to make money. That's all they care about. They just want to make money. And if your company can make them money, they're going to be happy to invest in your company. I don't know of a single. Someone could probably point me to it. I don't know of any Tencent acquisition that they made where they came in and said, we want creative control. I could be wrong on that. I'm sure there's some out there. I don't personally know of any.